Welcome to Hi-Fi and Stage Dives, a SoCan licensed podcast coming to you weekly from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Each week, I talk about a song that's been stuck in your head at one point or another, or stuff you've never heard before. Welcome to this musical journey. Hello, and welcome back to Hi-Fi and Stage Dives. So, this is your host, Ivan, as always. I just came back from a freezing-ass cold photo shoot with the wife. Some ladies came down from Calgary, which is about a 3 to 4 hour drive, depending on how you drive, to come take pictures in a ice castle. It was actually pretty rad. If you Google Edmonton Horlack Park Ice Castle, or just Edmonton, Alberta, Canada's ice castle, it should come up. It's actually pretty rad. It reminds me of the Planet Hoth from Star Wars. A little geek out there for you, but it's really rad. Pretty cool. Legitimately cold, like freezing cold. My hands were frozen. The two models, my wife and a girl from Calgary, they were both wearing barely anything. The one chick's nose started turning blue. She was kind of dressed up like the ice princess, I guess you could call her. But her nose was legitimately turning blue, not just from the makeup blue. It was fucking cold. It was only -5 Celsius. I don't know what that works out to in Fahrenheit. It's cold. It's fucking freezing ice cold. They had a fire. It was a pussy-ass fire. It wasn't warm at all. So let's listen to some nice warm music. That's what I'm doing right now. We're listening to Crosses. This is one of Chino Moreno's side bands. So Chino Moreno is a singer from Deftones, and Deftones is one of my favorite bands. Always will be. And Chino just happened to be one of my favorite people in the band. I can't say that. I like the whole band. It's just he was the front man, and I gravitated towards him first. I love the Deftones. Like, love the Deftones. Every time they come to Edmonton, I see them no matter what. I will miss work because of it, and I don't give a shit because it's the Deftones. And that's how I feel about the Deftones. So Crosses. They're from Los Angeles, California. Somewhere that's nice and warm, unlike here at the moment in time in my giant ice cube I was hanging out in. The genres. Electric rock, dark wave, and dream pop. There's some other stuff I'm going to get into about after about that. It's kind of a weird, there's this subgenre thing. They started in 2011, and they're under the label Sumerian. Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna name off some names and shit, and we'll get into it because it's like a weird little story. There's not very much to talk about them as a band because they only have really one album, one technical EP. They just put all their like singles and all their small EPs together on one album. So members: Chino Moreno, the man singing they hear right now; Sean Lopez, Chuck Doom, another mysterious man, bass player; Dino Campanella, he's only a live member for when they do live shows; and Juno Evans, and he's also just a live member. Because it is more electronic, there isn't a need for a full band all the time, so these guys play live with them. Crosses. Usually they're not a name. This is weird. They kind of pulled a Prince, not Prince turned into a symbol. It's usually just 3 crosses, so if you see it's crosses, so they had to put a name to it. Like I said, it was the side project of Chino Moreno of Deftones and guitarist from Far, Sean Lopez. These guys grew up next door to each other, apparently, like childhood friends, like legit, wherever they lived in California. Chuck Doom, who's the bass player, and this guy can fucking shred a bass. It's nuts. He looks like an older dude. Can't find anything on the guy. Like, it's nutty. He's just mysterious. He's just one of those mysterious people. He's one of those people who just want to be on the internet, and there's nothing wrong with that. So the main 3, Chino, Sean, and Chuck, they have always been in some way working with each other on side projects or other bands, what have you. So they worked well together, and I'm glad they did because I love this music. I'm hoping they put out another album soon, but because the Deftones obviously touring around and stuff like that, and Chino does a lot of side projects. When they recorded all these albums, these songs, not albums, because they only have one, you have like people that come in and they do little things on the side, and Duff McHagan of Velvet Revolver, Loaded, and also GNR did some bass work for them, which was kind of cool. This is cool. Dino Campanella. It's from the band called Dredge. I found this band Dredge at a what the hell show? It was like a music festival that Korn was touring around, and they did it at one of our coliseums here. And they literally got kicked off stage because their set time got cut in half or some shit. And they literally took pieces of they took the band apart piece by piece. It was great. I'm going to do Dredge. Like I talked about last week, my list of bands that I'm going to do has grown exponentially because of my iPod being on shuffle, which is absolutely rad. I should do it more often. It's amazing. Speaking of which, shuffling music, I just scored 500 plus LPs. I haven't counted them all. The guy I got them from is a guy I work with, and he is an older gentleman that has been collecting since the 60s and 70s. So there's some like really rare stuff, and this guy's really meticulous about stuff. So these LPs are fucking mint. The only problem with some of them is that they got water damage, so only the cardboard sleeves and shit got damaged. Other than that, these records are mint, like original press records. There's an original Prince in there, Purple Rain. I gotta go through it. I still haven't had a chance to go through everything. I listened to a couple of the records just to listen to them because they're amazing, and they are fucking spotless, minus a little bit of dust. Craziness. I digress. Like I said, Dredge and some other bands I found, and I will talk about Dredge on a few more episodes. I got some episodes lined out, which is really rad. Chino Moreno, singer, describes the project as minimal and soothing, and it's sort of like the stuff I like to listen to when I'm not screaming my head off. If you're not picking that vibe up from this, I don't know what you're picking up, because that's exactly what I picked up off of it. When I found synthwave, when I first heard Crosses, the first song I ever heard from them was This Is a Trick. That's the feature song I'll be playing. It changed me. It's one of those pivots in music for me, and this was one of it, and this is what helped me to find synthwave and all that good stuff, because I was always like, you follow down the rabbit hole of what music does what and all that good stuff. So this is one of them, and I totally get what Chino's saying, because like Chino in Deftones and other bands, like, he's got Teen Sleep also. I listened to Teen Sleep a long time ago, and I think it was a lot, like I haven't gone back and listened to it. I really should. I believe it was ahead of its time, because it was very different, very avant-garde, if you want to call it. Still, it was good at the time. I'm going to go back and listen to it and see how it goes, but I don't think it'll be the same as Crosses. I think Crosses, when I heard Teen Sleep the first time from Chino, there was like bits and pieces of this feel, and I think he actually like hit it on the head when it came to this band and the feel of it and the sound of it. This is what I was looking for the whole time with Teen Sleep. It was just about there every time, and it just missed every time, and then this came out and boom, nailed it on the fucking head. What I'm going to do now is I will not get into this. I got some more things to talk about, apparently. I thought I wasn't going to have much to talk about, but apparently I do. I always, over prep, I guess, because, there wasn't very much content to really find about this band, because they're not relatively new, but, I mean, technically they're only 7 years old. Like Moreno said, it was a nice chill version of him not having to scream his head off, the stuff that he likes to listen to, because the guy can sing. Obviously, it's just when you're playing different types of music, Deftones does a lot of screaming and singing, and it can be really hard on your voice a lot of the times. When they first came to a tentative name of Crosses, when they named this project, they began recording for 4 hours a day, completing nearly 16 songs with a plan to self-release a series of EPs, which they did. I wouldn't say they were a series of EPs, more like a series of singles and a couple EPs. They did is everything was available for free for download on their website, or you could pay to have a higher definition version of the songs. They were in Batman Arkham City. I believe that's a video game. Yes, it is, because I played it. Soundtrack, never really did anything with it. And then the second EP from Crosses was released on January 24th, 2012. And they played at Lollapalooza at the time, and the Chilean festival as well. Quilmes Rock Festival? I'm fucking bad with names. You think I'd be able to say names? I'm French, and I'm used to saying weird French names, but I can't pronounce any of the other names. They also released a vinyl single, including the track Option and Telepathy from their first two EPs on Record Store Day in 2012, which I was not aware of. Well, at the time I wasn't collecting vinyl, so now I'll probably go out and try and find that vinyl. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk to my local vinyl dealer, see if you can get it for me. You get the hookup from my dealer. The band released an official remix of Rob Zombie's song Dragula, appearing on Zombie's 2012 album Mondo Sexhead. You know what? I think I might have heard that song and just never put two and two together, because I didn't. In 2012, Telepathy appeared on the soundtrack video game from Need for Speed also. Their songs have been around, and you might have heard them and not even know who they were. Maybe the voice sounded familiar if you know the Deftones, or if you heard Chino does some soul stuff, you might have heard it. So there you go. So then the third Crosses EP was released, and Moreno put Crosses temporarily on hold while he concluded Deftones' album Koi no Yokan. And that album too that's a different album too. But they were coming off of the whole thing with their bass player Chi dying. It was different. I remember the day when I heard that Chi died. I remember when I heard about Chi getting into the accident, and was harsh, and like those guys were all like they were brothers from another mother, and then in the essence of the word, like from fights and everything. Like, it's crazy. They went to go release some other albums, and they got pushed back. And like new track albums and stuff like that. It's kind of a weird release. I mean, Deftones they're famous and underground famous, so it's kind of like when they go on a tear doing tours, they do hardcore tours, and they're fucking everywhere, and everybody wants to see them. And then there's times where they're just doing tours, like small tours, and like it's a cool little thing. Chino said it best one time. He's like, the Deftones are like everybody's favorite band, but they don't want to share them with everybody because they want to keep them to themselves. But it doesn't work that way, because they want to share it, but they don't. And it's really cool. So what I'm gonna do now is we'll get into the feature song, and then I will touch on some little things here and there, and that'll be It's gonna be a shorter. I guess they're always shorter than regular podcasts, but be shorter than the last few that I've done anyway. So here we go. This is A Trick. Great song, and I'll get into why I like them and all that good stuff after we listen to This Is A Trick. Hope you guys enjoy it, because I fucking love these guys. Here you go. Enjoy, sit back, relax, let it blow your mind.
Changed in your face, I notice a different sparkle in those crazy eyes. Your unmistakable charade, I know it always tricks me every time. A million tears, a trillion times. I've seen that glaze and glitch in your eyes. This is a trick. I know what this really is. What's the matter with the transformation? What you've been practicing for days and nights. While I'm watching the creation of this awful creature that no one likes. A million tears, a trillion times. I've seen that glaze and glitch in your eyes. This is a trick. I know what this really is. I know. This is a trick. I'm so excited I can hardly take it. This is a trick. It's just a trick.
That was This A Trick. Hope you enjoyed it, because I really like that song. So let's get into the end portion of this. I fucking love this this song right now. It gives you the movie Drive. That's the feel I get from this music. Puts you in that fucking zone, and I just get in one of my cars and just drive. It's amazing. Whatever car it is I'm in, my SUV or my Cadillac or whatever fucking fun car I have at the time. I love it. I don't know why. It's like I said, music is like a soundtrack to life for me. I mentioned earlier that obviously they're in their genres and sub-genres. electronic, dark wave, dark pop, dream pop, and then they've also been quoted as a witch house. I never had a chance to look at witch house, like I said, because I was freezing my ass off earlier today and picking up records and stuff. I was going to check it out and like go down that rabbit hole, which I will after this, and probably end up liking it. Who knows? But Chino Moreno does not like that name because they're not it, so I'm assuming they're not it. If Chino says they're not it, they're not it. As like the Deftones got wrapped up in that whole new metal rap rock thing, and they're far from it. Not new metal. No, they're definitely not new metal. They're not new metal. I don't care what anybody says. If you think Deftones are new metal, I will fucking fist fight you. I'm not joking. They use the aesthetics and the imagery of everything. So the aesthetics and imagery of witches and crosses and all that stuff, and like that whole, not gothic, but like spiritual side of it all. And that's not what it is at all. You listen to something like this song, fuck, just the things he's like, his lyrics and the way it fits and everything, I love it. If you look at their videos, they got that whole feel. If you just go check out their album cover, is a perfect example of it. It's like a weird, this cross on it and like digitized head, and like it's different. I really enjoy it, and it's really cool, and like it fits. Like, you know, that whole like purpley bluish motif, a lot like Drive. It's like that, and that's why I like it so much. And I think that's why I think that it was a perfect fit. It was a perfect fit. So I got a quote from Chino Moreno here. I don't want people to think we are a religious band, a satanic band, or that we are a witch house band. It is difficult using a religious symbol, but at the same time, it's in an artistic way. It can totally go somewhere else, and I think we are kind of walking on that line. And I totally agree. I've seen Chino do a lot of live shows, and I've went down that YouTube rabbit hole before. Chino seems like a pretty chill dude. You can tell he's got like a weird, he's different. He's 100% different. He's a musician through and through, and an artist through and through. So it makes sense to me as an artist and a musician to branch off and do different stuff and tap that other side of the feelings of it. Because when you're making, I'll use Deftones and Crosses as a perfect example because that's what we're talking about. Deftones is it's a very in-your-face, very loud, lots of screaming, lots of differentness to it. But Chino, he fits in that pocket. There's like a middle pocket, and then all of a sudden there's Crosses. So Deftones is on the left, and then you got Crosses on the right, and he switches back and forth. And sometimes it crosses over a little bit, like in Deftones. Not so much into Crosses. I mean, there is some musical aspects of it that do to a point, but not like they do to the Deftones, where Deftones is a lot more open to different genre influences, where Crosses is very chill and very electronic. But when you watch Chino, or you watch him live, or you see him on these interviews, you can tell that it's there, and he needs that other outlet, that other side of him, his yin to his yang, I guess you could call it, to let that other part out, to get that part out, because there's another part of him that wants to come out. And I totally get it. Like, there's a point in time in my life where I was like, yeah, I want to be a DJ. I would have loved to be a DJ, but at the time I didn't have the money to do it. I was younger. I was playing music, and I would have loved to DJ, and I would have, who knows what kind of music I would have ended up making. And I still listen to a lot of like, techno, I guess, or EDM and IDM, and like even dubstep. People harp on dubstep hard, but I like the breaks in dubstep, and I like the breakdowns. I like it. I like all types of music. You know, like I said, time and time again, the only music I don't really like is country, unless it's like super old country, then I'm okay with it. But again, I'm only okay with it. I'll never go and buy a country album. The day I go and buy a country album, that means country has taken a very hard turn somewhere to come around and make country music good again, you know what I mean? That's where I am on that. And I totally get where Chino's coming from. So I'd like to meet him. They say don't meet your heroes, but I mean, I don't know what Chino does for his free time. I don't know. Even if it's to sit down for 5 minutes and just say, hey man, thanks for making all the music that you've made along the years. It means the world to me, and you know, it's inspired me to do lots of other things, and I think you're making fucking awesome art, and don't ever stop, because I think a big part of the world would die if you did, type shit, you know what I mean? He's a great artist, great musician. Hope he sticks around for a very long time. On that note, I am Ivan, the host, as always, of Hi-Fi and Stage Dives. Until next week, stay rad. Thank you again for listening to Hi-Fi and Stage Dives. It means the world to me. I'm glad you could come on this journey with me, and we'll keep doing it every week. Subscribe, rate and review, all that good stuff. And keep listening to music, because it only makes life better. And we'll see you on the flip side. Stay rad.